Hey there, CJ Math students, and welcome to the second part of notes today, page 41, area of circles. So the area of a circle is simply the space inside of a circle, right? You're asking yourself, how many 1 by 1 squares could I fit inside of a circle? So the 3 steps. First, you're going to want to label the radius, and I'll show you why in a second. Next, you're going to want to write down the formula for the area of a circle, and the last thing you're going to do is solve, right? So the area formula is A is equal to pi r squared, right? And remember that this r squared really means the radius times itself, right? So if this is 3, it's 3 times 3. If it's 9, it's 9 times 9. If it's 100, it's 100 times 100, not 100 times 2. Right? So that's why we really want to label the radius here, because it's part of our formula. So if we look at number 1, the radius in this case is 21. The diameter, it's always helpful to know. If that's going to be another 21, then our diameter is 42, right? Just the diameter is going to be twice the radius. So let's actually fill that out. The diameter is twice the radius, or the radius is, or the radius is half of the diameter. Right? So now if we go ahead and plug in A is equal to pi r squared, we'll plug in what we know. Pi, we'll use again 3.14 times the radius, which was 21. That's why it was important to identify it squared, right? And when you plug this in your calculator, remember this is 21 times 21. You can use the x squared button on your calculator, or the up arrow, and then a 21, the up arrow, and then a 2 to help you out. But when you do that, that should be 3.14 times 441, and then that gets you your answer of 1,384.74, and then don't forget to put meters squared, right? Because we're saying you can fit 1,384.74 1 by 1 meters inside of that circle if it was 21 meters long, right? Number 2, you'll notice that the radius is 10, so therefore if you extend it, the diameter is then 20, right? Again, you don't necessarily need the diameter to help you, but it's always good to be able to label both. So area is equal to pi r squared. Remember, you're just using the radius, which is 10. So I'm going to go ahead and let you solve that in Edpuzzle. Number 3, notice they've given us a diameter this time, so you want to split it half and half. So half of 10 would be 5 and 5, so the radius is 5. The diameter we already know is 10. So now we can go to work. A is equal to pi r squared. A is equal to 3.14 times 5 squared. Again, we always want to use the radius, not the diameter, for area. And so area is equal to 3.14 times 25, because that was 5 times 5 is. And then when you multiply that together, you're going to get your answer of 78.5. So 78.5 centimeters squared, right? So for number 4, the radius, half of 18, so 9 and 9. So we have 9 as our radius, and 18 obviously is our diameter. If area is equal to 3.14, should say pi r squared first, you were going to go ahead in Edpuzzle and try and solve this. All right? So hopefully when you were doing this problem here, you got the circumference of this problem to be 3.14 times 50, which gave you 157 feet, right? Now, when I'm doing the area of this problem, I don't need the diameter, I just need half of it, which would be 25, right? Half of 50 is 25. So the area is 3.14 times 25 squared, or area is equal to 3.14 times 625, because that's what 25 times 25 is. And then your answer for the area of this merry-go-round is 1,962.5 feet squared. All right. So on number 6, I want you to do that in your notes. I don't necessarily want you to do it. I don't think I'll ask about it in Edpuzzle. But number 6 is just like number 5 with different numbers. Now lastly, I'm going to do number 7 with you, working backwards. It's an important skill to have. Notice this time I'm giving you what the area is, but I'm not giving you a radius or diameter. I'm asking you to find that. So if you draw a circle and you're saying, all right, the area inside here is 100 square feet, let's start with the area. So area is equal to pi r squared. What do we know here? We know the area, and we know what pi is. We know that's 3.14. So 100 equals 3.14 r squared. So we start off by saying, all right, let's just go ahead and divide both sides by 3.14. When I do that, this cancels off right there, and I'm left with r squared is equal to, what is 100 divided by 3.14? You're going to have to do some rounding here, but it's about 31.85, okay? So now once you have that 31.85 equals r squared, here's where it gets a little tricky. You are going to take the square root, right? To undo something squared, you take the square root. So r is equal to the square root of 31.85, which happens to be 5.64. So we just figured out what our radius is. It was 5.64. So to figure out what our diameter is, we're just going to take 5.64. And remember, if you go back up to the top of your notes, you said, hey, the diameter is twice the radius, right? So you can imagine you had a circle here, and this was 5.64. You just have to extend it, right? Another 5.64, or just do 5.64 times 2, or 5.64 plus 5.64, and you get your answer of 11.28. And then it's going to be inches, right? Both of these would be inches. Okay. Number 8, you're going to finish on your own. All right, that's it.